London is the financial capital of the world, and that translates into many finance jobs in and around the city, and for that matter, in many other parts of the UK as well. But are these jobs made available to students who have just completed their masters? And if yes, what do they earn? The answers to these questions will help us answer the question, should you pursue a master's in finance in UK? And if you do decide to pursue the degree in UK, what are the best universities to consider? Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Manil, and here I try and answer critical questions that can help you make the right decision about studying abroad. And today we are considering whether a master's in finance degree from a UK university is valuable or not. So to begin, here's some useful data to look at. Here is the average data for a student with any master's degree in UK in general. The data that you see here is collected and published by the UK government as part of its Graduate Outcomes Survey. The average salary for all master's graduates across all subjects in the UK is £21,000 immediately after graduation. And that increases to 36,500 after 5 years down the line. Excellent numbers. Now, for a graduate with a master's in finance degree, there are no government published stats, but various agencies estimate that the expected starting salary is around £30,000 and can sit closer to 35,000, which is £14,000 or 66% higher as compared to the UK average starting salary. Over a period of 5 years, this increases to £55,000 per year. Both of these are excellent numbers and far better than the averages and show great earning potential of the Masters in Finance degree from the UK. Now, if you go to some of the websites online that help you study abroad, you will see figures as high as £50,000 stated for a person stepping out of a university, and overall averages as high as 100,000 or higher. What they fail to mention is that these are salaries for people who already have 5 to 6 years of experience before joining the degree. And those touching the 100,000 mark have been working for close to 10 years after completing the degree. I'm not breaking your morale here. Instead, I'm helping you manage your expectations, which is critical. Unfortunately, students who move abroad expect bonkers salaries only to realize that those are not available for them, and then they lose confidence, and some actually end up saying no to very good packages, thinking that they are being offered a lower than what salary should be paid to them. Please remember that a salary of £30,000 and higher is excellent if you have 0 to 3 years of work experience. Now that we know that a master's in finance in UK is indeed a very lucrative option, what are the universities that you should consider for your applications? We will try to answer this by looking at the following data: rankings, employer reputation, percentage of graduates employed within 6 months of completing the course. I did want to include data on ROI and average salaries for each of the universities that we will consider, but the data on that is limited. So I have left it out for this video. Now, before we get started, I also want to weigh in on the idea of whether you should go for an MBA or a master's. The answer is pretty straightforward. If you do not have relevant industry experience of at least 3 to 5 years, where you had to manage resources and people, go for the master's degree. If you do have relevant work experience, opt for an MBA. I will talk more about MBAs and other degrees in my future videos, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Back to Masters in Finance in the UK, let's start with the rankings. The UK has 165 recognized universities, but for the sake of brevity, we need to consider some of the higher ranked universities. For this, I will be using 3 ranking charts: the FT rankings, the QS World University rankings, and the Times Higher Education World University rankings. According to the FT rankings, these are the top business schools in the UK to study masters in finance. Now, please do note that not featuring on this list does not mean that a university is not good. The problem with the FT rankings is that they only publish a list of the top 65 universities globally. And that means the university that you may have in mind may not make it to this list, even though it has an exceptional track record. Also, FT states the name of the business school and not the university, which is not the case with the other 2 rankings, where the university name is stated instead of the business school's name. These are the top 20 universities in the UK to pursue masters in finance according to the QS World University rankings for 2025. And Finally, these are the top 20 universities in the UK to pursue masters in finance according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2025. If we look at the three rankings combined, these are the 16 universities that make it to at least two of the three lists, with Cambridge being the only exception. It made it only to the QS World University rankings, but it would be silly to not include it in the overall ranking. Also, please note that these 16 are not in any kind of ranking order. They have been typed in basis the order in which I ended up identifying and typing the names. So for these universities, we can safely conclude that all of them have a solid academic reputation. And if ranking is the primary motivation for you to choose your university, you should choose one of these universities. Now, just before we move on to the employer reputation, I want to share that I myself studied in the UK, and I am fully well aware that an international education can open doors to a world of possibilities in terms of career and self-development. But I also understand that all of this information and data that we are looking at can be confusing, and that you may need guidance and support to make the right decision to ensure that your efforts pay off. So, if you're from India and looking to pursue your master's in finance in any country outside India, you can reach out to me for that guidance and support. And all you have to do is click on the link in the description to start a WhatsApp chat with me. Moving on to employer reputation. Employer reputation helps us understand how industry looks at a university. Now, based on the ranking charts that we created, this is the employer reputation for each university on the QS World University rankings from highest to lowest. Ideally, you want to be at a university that has a minimum of 65 rating points to stand a strong chance of getting employed. And that is a criterion that all universities on this list achieve. But universities with a rating of 80 or higher are those that employees actively seek to employ graduates from. Finally, we come to percentage of students employed within 6 months of graduation. This table shows the data, and this has been collected from the website for each of these universities. Almost all British universities conduct surveys to ascertain this data and then publish it to their websites. What you see is the percentage of graduates who accepted an offer within 6 months. So many of the students may have multiple offers, and some may not have accepted an offer at all because they went on to start their own ventures or continue further education. Unfortunately, for some of these universities, there was no data for 6 months, but there was data for 15 months post-graduation, and all universities had a number of 90% or more. So having considered all the data, I have now ranked these universities, and here is that list. For the universities that do not have 6 months data, I move them to the bottom of the table. As for the rest, I rank them as per their employer reputation. Why? Well, as international graduates who take massive loans to fund their education, it is critical that employment is available at the earliest so that those loans can be paid in time to avoid accruing unmanageable interests. And if possible, employment should be in the UK to make it easier to pay off the loan completely. And higher the employer reputation, better are the chances of getting employed, which is why I have ranked these universities on this basis. So no surprises there that Oxford comes out top, but London Business School in the fifth, I believe, is not so accurate. I feel its employer reputation could be lower because the salary expectation of the graduates could be higher, and students who make it there usually are very ambitious and find it difficult to stay in employment because they wish to start their own ventures. Employers usually don't appreciate that as they want people to stay with them long term. So to finally answer the question, should you pursue a master's in finance in the UK? The answer is yes, you should. With average starting salaries exceeding £30,000 and most of the graduates in employment within 6 months of graduating from university, the UK offers a great launch to your career in finance. Now, if you want to study at these top universities and need the right guidance and mentorship to make rock solid applications that help you receive offers, you can reach out to me through the link in the description. My students have received offers from LSE, UCL, Manchester, Edinburgh, King's, Durham, Glasgow, and many more highly reputed British universities. Also, make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss out on any of these videos. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.